The deadliest battle you will ever face is not against the world, but against the voice inside your head. You know this voice. It speaks loudest at 3 a.m., when the house is quiet and your defenses are down. Your chest tightens, your jaw clenches, and the same thoughts begin their endless rotation. What you should have said, what might go wrong, what you have already lost. You smile during the day, you function, you perform, but at night you fight wars no one else can see. Most men live this way for decades without ever realizing there is another option. They assume anxiety is the price of ambition. They believe worry is the mark of a serious mind. They accept the nightly siege as an unavoidable condition of being alive. They are wrong. The common pattern is this. You experience an event. Your mind immediately generates a story about that event, a judgment, an interpretation, a prediction. And then you suffer not from the event itself, but from the story your mind created. You send an email and receive no response. Within hours, your mind has constructed entire scenarios of rejection, failure, and catastrophe. Your body responds as if these imaginary disasters were actually happening. Your heart races. Your stomach knots. You lose sleep over a future that may never arrive. This is the pattern that steals years from men who never learn to recognize it. The stakes are not abstract. Every hour spent in mental warfare is an hour stolen from the life you could be building. Every night surrendered to anxiety is a night you will never reclaim. The tragic realization that awaits the untrained mind is this. You spent your precious time on earth fighting battles that existed only in your imagination, while real life passed you by. Almost 2,000 years ago, a man understood this pattern completely. His name was Marcus Aurelius, and he ruled the largest empire the world had ever seen. By 170 AD, Marcus faced simultaneous crises that would have broken lesser men. Germanic tribes threatened the Danube frontier. The Antonine Plague swept through the empire, killing millions. His own general declared himself emperor in an act of betrayal. He buried multiple children. His health deteriorated. The historian Cassius Dio wrote that Marcus did not meet with the good fortune that he deserved, for he was not strong in body and was involved in a multitude of troubles throughout practically his entire reign. Yet every night in a military tent on the frontier, Marcus practiced something extraordinary. He wrote private notes to himself, never intended for publication, that became one of the most influential philosophy books in history, and in those pages, he recorded this revelation. Today, I escaped anxiety. Or no, I discarded it because it was within me, in my own perceptions, not outside. This is the systematic truth the Stoics discovered. Anxiety is not caused by what happens to you. It is caused by your judgments about what happens to you, and those judgments are fully within your power to change. Epictetus, born a slave, whose leg was deliberately broken by his master, taught this principle to generations. It is not the things themselves that disturb people, but their judgments about those things. Seneca, one of Rome's wealthiest men who faced exile, constant threat of execution, and was eventually ordered to take his own life, wrote to his friend, "There are more things likely to frighten us than there are to crush us." We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. I spent years not understanding this. I thought my anxiety was a response to real problems, that if I could just solve enough external situations, the internal war would end. It took a long time to see what these men understood immediately. The battlefield was never outside. It was always within. The method the Stoics developed was not philosophy for philosophy's sake. It was a practical system for mental warfare. Techniques that modern psychology has only recently validated as the foundation of cognitive behavioral therapy. Here are the truths that kill anxiety. The first truth is the dichotomy of control. Epictetus opened his handbook with this principle. Some things are in our control and others not. Things in our control are opinion, pursuit, desire, aversion. Things not in our control are body, property, reputation, command. Every anxiety you carry can be traced to investing emotional energy in what you cannot control. When you worry about whether someone will approve of you, you suffer because their opinion is outside your power. When you agonize over an outcome, you suffer because results depend on factors beyond your influence. The practice is simple. Draw two circles, one inside the other. In the inner circle, write only what you fully control, your effort, your attitude, your responses, your judgments. In the outer circle, write everything else. Anytime anxiety rises in your chest, ask one question. Which circle does this belong to? Then redirect your energy accordingly. The second truth is that you suffer from stories, not events. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment." When anxiety strikes, immediately write down the thought. Then separate the objective event from your judgment about it. The bare fact is, I sent an email and have not received a response. The story you added is, they are ignoring me. Something is wrong. I am about to be fired. Cross out the added story. What remains is the only truth. The third truth is that most fears never materialize. Seneca calculated this precisely. We are tormented alike by what is past and what is to come. Memory brings back the agony of fear, while foresight brings it on prematurely. You have survived every worst-case scenario your mind has ever generated, because most of them never happened. The energy you spent on imaginary catastrophes was stolen from present living. The Stoics understood that the future cannot harm you now, and when it arrives, you will have the same rational mind you have today. The fourth truth is the power of deliberate premeditation. This may seem counterintuitive. Part of you wants to reject it immediately. Another part recognizes why that resistance exists, because this truth requires courage. The Stoics practiced what they called Premeditatio Malorum, the premeditation of evils. Each morning, Marcus Aurelius visualized the difficulties ahead. When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly, and so none of them can hurt me. By imagining worst-case scenarios deliberately, you diffuse their power to surprise and overwhelm you. This is not pessimism, it is preparation. When you have already faced the possibility of failure in your mind, the reality, if it comes, holds no terror. The fifth truth is that your mind is a citadel. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Nowhere you can go is more peaceful, more free of interruptions than your own soul." The ancients understood that external circumstances may be chaotic, but the trained mind remains sovereign territory. No one can breach your inner fortress unless you open the gates yourself. The practice is creating this retreat through daily discipline, knowing that regardless of what storms rage outside, there is a place of stillness within. the ancients left us more than philosophy. They left us a blueprint for dominance over the self. Subscribe to uncover what they knew. The sixth truth is that perspective dissolves anxiety. When overwhelmed, the Stoics practiced what scholars call the view from above. Close your eyes. Imagine zooming out, from your body to your room to your city to the earth from space to the vastness of the universe. Then zoom back in. Marcus wrote, "Dwell on the beauty of life. Watch the stars and see yourself running with them. Against the backdrop of cosmic time, against the billions who have lived and died before you, against the infinite expanse of existence. How significant is this problem that consumes you?" This is not minimization. It is accurate proportion. The seventh truth is that nightly review prevents accumulation. Before sleep, Seneca examined his entire day. What bad habit did I curb today? What virtue did I pursue? What area can I improve tomorrow? The meditations themselves were Marcus Aurelius's private journal, spiritual exercises never meant for publication. By processing each day consciously, you prevent anxiety from accumulating into an unexamined mass. What is reviewed does not fester. These techniques compound over time. The first week, you will catch yourself after the anxiety has already taken hold. You will recognize the pattern only in retrospect. This is normal. The first month, you will begin to notice the moment of judgment, the instant between event and interpretation where your suffering is actually created. By the third month, a gap opens. Between stimulus and response, there is space, and in that space lies your freedom. Marcus Aurelius practiced these exercises for decades. Night after night, in his military tent on the Danube frontier, he wrote reminders to himself. He faced plague, war, betrayal, and loss. Yet he never descended into the tyranny or madness that claimed emperors before and after him. He proved something that matters for your life today. Inner peace is possible under any external conditions. The man who rules the empire of his own mind cannot be conquered by circumstances. The man who masters his judgments cannot be enslaved by anxiety. Tonight, before you sleep, practice one exercise from what you have learned. Write down the thought that has been circling your mind. Separate the event from your judgment. Ask which circle it belongs to. This is not about understanding the philosophy. Understanding changes nothing. This is about practice. The Stoics were not academics analyzing ideas. They were practitioners training their minds as seriously as athletes train their bodies. Tomorrow morning when you wake, spend 5 minutes imagining the difficulties you may face. See the frustrations before they arrive. Picture yourself responding with calm. The battle inside your head will continue, but now you have weapons. Now you have method. Now you understand what the most powerful man in the ancient world discovered alone in his tent, that anxiety lives only in your perceptions, and perceptions are yours to command. The mirror does not lie. Neither does this philosophy. Subscribe to Inner Imperium for more uncomfortable truths that forge stronger men. Share in the comments. What judgment have you mistaken for fact?